I know what you're doing this week, and I know what you're not doing, specifically working. More internet windows will be minimized as bosses walk by this week than any other week of the year, with the possible exception of March Madness. And right about now, I'm not even sure anymore. Just know that we know what you're doing. But I'm not here to hurt. As always, I'm here to help. I'm not here to hate. I'm here to help. And as you cram into the basements and man caves and hotel rooms, wherever you hold your draft this weekend with the fellas, I want you to be aware of the people you want to avoid. Consider it a PSA. It's a public service announcement. Each of these fellas is in every single fantasy league. Each of these fellas is the guy that you do not want to sit next to on the futon or wherever you are. Every single draft has at least one of these guys. Beware and stay clear. You all know these guys. Let me start with the jerk. The jerk. He's there to do one thing and one thing only, hate. Drafting his own team is second in importance to cracking everybody else's team. Let me repeat that. I cannot state that succinctly enough. Drafting his own team is second in importance to cracking on everybody else's team. He'd rather hate your team than hype his team. The jerk is usually the guy who's a friend or a coworker of one of your boys. He's not one of your guys. Somebody brought him. A guy that they only let into the league because they had to have a 12th owner. He's the guy who's constantly talking about his other league. You know that guy. You hate that guy, right? He's the guy who's always talking about, quote, his other league. The way things are done in his other league. How much better it is in his other league. And how y'all better watch out because he's won his other league 3 of the last 4 years. And that there's a new sheriff in town. Hey-oh. And then once the draft actually starts, the jerk is the only guy who's involved in every single pick. His pick and your picks. He's the guy who's got to bash every single pick that gets made. Terrible pick. Oh, yeah, that pick just cost you the playoffs. Really? Y'all might as well just hand me the title right now. Oh, dude, what are you thinking? Are you kidding? Great pick, bro. In 05, maybe. Is that guy even still in the league? Who let you in this room? And you're like, I'm thinking I just got Brandon Marshall in the 3rd round. I'm feeling pretty good about it. Until that guy started bumping his gums. And now it's the worst pick ever. Oh. And for each of his own picks, the jerk struts up to the draft board. He waits for absolute silence. Like, check me out. Check this out. You're about to see somebody make a move that's going to win a championship. Watch me. Class is in session, boys. Look at me. Watch and learn. And then he places the name up there like it's some brilliant pick. Like he's the one guy who saw sleeper potential in Jacoby Jones. Like, how the hell did you let this guy fall? You paying attention? Like, this guy's A.J. Smith or something. You know what else he'll do? Here's the trademark move. Right in the middle of the draft, the jerk will look at his BlackBerry and say, no way. Check it out. ESPN, hold on, shut up. Listen to me. Listen to this. Check this out. ESPN is reporting that Frank Gore just blew out an ACL in practice. And the guy who drafted Gore in the 1st turns pale white. Only for the jerk to scream out, psych. Should have seen your face. Gotcha. Psych. Man, I am the best. Got the best draft. Got the best rap. Dude, man, you should look in the mirror right now, man. Who's the man? Look in the mirror. The jerk also commits the mortal sin of the draft room in the late rounds. He will draft other owners, handcuff running backs. We've covered this on this show before. I've never laid this out like this, but we've covered this notion. You can't do that. You cannot do that. That's a reason to go. You've mortgaged your entire season on Chris Johnson, and you need Javon Ringer as your backup. But the jerk grabbed him instead. His response, hey man, fair game. I don't see your name on him, sucker. Or he'll snag Mojo's backup before the Mojo owner can and try to play it off like he's just doing it because he sees potential in the guy. Oh yeah, really, jerk? You see fantasy potential in Rashad Jennings? I see potential. I see potential of one of us or all of us breaking your face. That's my new fantasy. Mine and every other owner in this room. Jerk. That's the jerk. Y'all know him. Every league has one. The jerk. The worst guy in the draft room. And you'll see him this weekend. Guaranteed. I bet I can stop right here, and I've got other guys. I've got like 3 other guys involved that I want to get to. I could stop right now and probably take emails, and I haven't seen any yet. I bet I could take emails on the jerk for the next 45 minutes if I chose to do so. I'm that certain of it. Everybody knows the jerk. And if for some reason you don't, either you haven't played or you will this weekend. There might be 1 or 2 of you saying, wow, man, funny bit, Rome, but we don't have a guy like that in our league. No, you do. You do. You do. Guess who it is? It's you, jerk. If there's anybody saying we don't have a guy like that in the league, look in the mirror. The only guy saying that is the only guy who doesn't know. No, we don't have a guy like that. You do. You. If you don't know or you have to be told, it's you. Hey, Rome, how about fantasy football guy who yells championship after every player he drafts? Lindsay in the Ville. Good point. Hey, Rome, Triple U. Fantasy draft room guy that wears his NFL jersey to the draft. You know this tool is serious about his draft, and he's going to be making smart-ass comments throughout the day. These tools are code red for, I've been studying for this draft since May. I have no girlfriend nor any life. Joe from the Valley. Well, I'm going to get there, Joe. That's not, when I go fantasy draft room guy, that's just one of the guys. The jerk. Then there's the second guy in the draft room you want to look out for. After the jerk, you have to concern yourself with. If you look to your right and you see the jerk, on your left is the stat geek. The stat geek. Instead of being the worst guy in the room, the jerk, he's just a huge nerd. Huge nerd. Like, where are they, Jeffrey? Where are they, Jeffrey?
Where are they, Jeffrey? I think he's talking about us, Michael.
Where are they, Jeffrey? They're in the corner of the room with a stack of spreadsheets, charts, graphs, and quantitative analysis, Michael. The stat geek, as you know, has spent more time working for this season than the players themselves. The stat geek has put in more time than Bill Belichick has getting the Patriots ready for the 2010 season. From the very second the 2009 season ended, the stat geek has been crunching data, watching NFL Network replays, hanging in chat rooms. This guy had a cheat sheet for the 2010 draft at the 2009 draft. laminated under his belt buckle. He's the guy who's not feeling Ryan Matthews because he's just not crazy about that yard per carry in the fourth quarter of road games last year at Fresno. Oh, and I'll tell you something else he's not into. He's really not, or he really is digging Phillip Rivers because his red zone passer rating against division opponents in outdoor stadiums in the last 2 minutes of the half is excellent. Look it up. Look it up and compare it to others. The Stat Geek hangs on every single syllable that comes out of Ron Jaworski's mouth. The Stat Geek has Ron Jaworski on instant message. Jaworski doesn't respond, but Stat Geek's all up in his mail. And in a way, he's got a tiny bit of the jerk in him too. He's Stat Geek, but he's got some of the jerk in him as well. Because if you make a pick, you'll often get a very skeptical look from the Stat Geek. And then you look back at him like, what? What? You want to say something, Stat Geek? No, okay. Okay, what, nerd? What? All right, man. If you really need to know. Yeah, I need to know. The hell are you looking at? Why are you looking at me like that? All right. I don't know, man. I mean, you do know that he was only targeted 3.8 times per half in the fourth quarter in weeks 14 through 16 of the last 3 seasons, whereas so-and-so was targeted during those same periods 4.3 times. If you want him, take him. I'm just saying. Just saying, I wouldn't take him. Yeah, well, shut up, Stat Geek. Hey, man, you just asked. You just asked. Hey, man, don't blame me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the guy with all the good information. 3 other things that everybody hates about Stat Geek. Number 1, he never posts anything on the message board all season long. Because he's not funny, he's not interesting, or he just doesn't want you to know. He's hoarding info. Intel. You're not getting any of his intel. You're not getting any of his 411. This guy's not doing it. This is the guy who subscribes and who pays extra for the premium content. He sure as hell is not putting up on a message board for free what he had to pay for. And why? For who? For what? To help you? $99.99 annually, although he could write the thing himself probably better. But he wants to cover all bases. He's not posting, which is good because he's not funny and he's not interesting. Number 2, the guy takes 5 minutes with every single pick. Winds the clock down. Dude, you've done 5 months worth of research. You've run a mock draft every hour on the hour for the past month. Why are you taking all 5 minutes on that pick? You're still crunching numbers when you're on the clock? Make the freaking pick. Come on. It is the 16th round. Today, we got to go back to work tomorrow. Make the pick. You're looking at your backup tight end. This is not going to make or break anything, loser. Make the pick. And number 3, the reason you hate Stat Geek, his team is usually pretty damn good. How could it not be? He's a loser. He's a Stat Geek. He's put in 20 times more time on this than any of you. Of course his team is good, and that's why you don't like him. Stat Geek is the polar opposite in the draft room. Or he's got a polar opposite, which I'll get to in a minute. All right, we've covered the jerk. We've covered the Stat Geek. Stat Geek has got a polar opposite in the draft room. A guy that we like, actually. A guy that we like because he really doesn't give a damn. We like that guy. Wing it guy. Every draft has wing it guy. If Stat Geek did 5 months of research, this guy's lucky if he can cram in 5 minutes before he's on the clock. Not 5 minutes per pick, 5 minutes of total research for the draft before arriving, while other owners come prepared with their clipboards, their cheat sheets, their printouts, video on their phones. The only thing Wing It Guy has is the fantasy football preview mag that he picked up with his corn nuts and Rolos at the gas station on the way over. Just gave myself a tongue. I love the Rolos and corn nut reference from the gas station. Didn't you buy either one or both those things when you go to a gas station? Yeah, well, that's that guy. Wing It Guy picks up the fantasy football preview mag that he got with his corn nuts and Rolos at the convenience store, gas station on the way over. You know, the one that was printed back in June. The one with really fresh insight like Chris Johnson is poised for an enormous year. Better get him early. So since that rag is Wing It Guy's guide, he runs into trouble early and often. Because he'll take somebody like Sidney Rice in the second round because the magazine told him that too, having no idea that the guy's been hurt for a long time. And then when the entire room laughs at him, he'll be like, what? What? It says right here he's a bona fide number one. He's number one wideout. Right. He was. In June, when that thing went to print, sometimes right before the draft, you'll catch Wing It Guy trying to poach off Stat Guy. He'll creep up on him. He'll be like, yo, you know anything about this rookie on the Chargers, Ryan Matthews? You think I can still get him in the 8th? What do you think I should do here, man? What should I do, man? Reminds me of being at the Karma event where I was trying to play poker and Joe Talamo was in my ear. I was that guy. I was Wing It Guy at the poker table. A stat geek's a geek. He's a loser. He's a knob. He's a nerd. He likes it. People rolling up on him like, yo, man, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Should I take Ryan Matthews? Should I take him in the 8th? Then, when all else fails for Wing It Guy because he's got nothing to fall back on, certainly not knowledge, that guy doesn't have an N on the side of his helmet. He just reverts into Homer Guy. The guy who just says, screw it. And starts drafting all the guys from the home team. Hey, man, gotta get my Giants. Gotta get my Giants. That's fine, but do you really want to take Lawrence Tynes in the 8th, dude? I'm pretty sure he would have been there later. Let's not confuse the only guy you know with the best player available. Come on now. I like the guy. I like the guy because he doesn't take it too seriously and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And we know he can beat that guy. Kill a few beers, yuck it up, crack on a few guys, make bad picks. Guy provides entertainment value. This guy's talking about Wing It Guy. Rome, the worst guy to sit next to at a fantasy draft, comes with no material guy. Constantly leaning over to your ranking sheets, seeing who's crossed off, who is available, and inevitably who you have highlighted in green and red as sleepers and busts because you actually put a little thought into the draft. Matt in Utica. Right. Wing It Guy. Hey, man, can I borrow your pen, guy? Hey, man, who do you got coming up here? Who do you think I should take? You know, and you're kind of leaning over your sheets like you do when you took a test back in the day and some jock was trying to copy off you. Yo, man, what are you thinking here? I was thinking Steve Smith. Yeah, me too. No, you weren't. You wouldn't have asked me. What do you mean, you too? Hey, man, what are you thinking here? I'm thinking Lawrence Tynes. How about you? Matt, me too. Good, I'm taking Steve Smith. Wrapping it up. An hour plus of fantasy draft room guy. The recap, the jerk, the stat geek, the Wing It Guy, and finally, the drunk.
Y'all already know Joe Rock handles alcohol very well. Very well. Like, I can conduct my... I just got pulled over the other day. Police like, how you doing, sir? License registration, please. I'm like, yeah, here you go. Whatever. And they let me go. Because, you know, and I was told to fuck up.
Everybody drinks at the draft. Everybody's wasted by the end of the draft. This guy is wasted by the end of the first round. Months from now, when he's 2-12, and he's miserable, and he's on the hook for $200, he's going to be really angry that he couldn't stay in his shoes at least until he got his starting lineup drafted. Because watching this guy draft is watching a train wreck. He had a cheat sheet. It was a great cheat sheet. He lost it. Got too wasted. So then he's up there just ad-libbing and slurring and looking for anybody who looks familiar to him. Derek Mason? He's been around, right? Yeah, I know Derek Mason. Yeah. I'll take him in the third round. How do you like me now? Hey, yo, Derek Mason, third round. Hey, who's the loser with the laptop? Ooh, Mr. Serious. Hey, buddy, take off the skirt and do a shot with me. Because that's the guy who says that he's going to do a shot of Jack every time he picks for all 17 rounds. And by the 10th round, he's leaning off the balcony puking. Yeah, the only draft I care about is Miller Genuine. Hey, man, turn that laptop off, Mr. Serious. And normally you would say that the drunk actually helps because him taking Devin Hester in the second round because he was so fast in the Super Bowl means that the rest of you will get better players. But again, the problem with the drunk is he's the guy who's constantly picking players who have already been taken. Ruins it for everybody, slows the thing down, is extremely irritating. In fact, sometimes they were taken several rounds ago. The drunk guy is the guy who's like, 7th round, give me Drew Brees, bitch. Hey, bro, Drew Brees went 8th overall. You're in the 7th round. He's no longer available and hasn't been for a couple hours. Better yet, drunk guy, 1 hour ago you took him. You already have him. Yeah, just testing you. Have a shot. Take off the skirt and have a shot. You think you're better than me? You think I don't know that I have Drew Brees? Why are you taking it so seriously, man? Yeah, because I don't know that I have Drew Brees. Idiots. Yeah, you took him. Look, every draft room has the drunk. Do not confuse being drunk with the drunk. I would even say that every draft room needs the drunk. But he doesn't need 4 tight ends, 3 kickers, a running back, and a quarterback that he himself selected an hour earlier. But at the end of the night, that's what he's got. That's the guy with the wife and kids that never gets out but once a year for the draft. The wife cuts him loose, and, man, he's having all of it. That's his night. He's slamming Jack. 1 shot for every pick, even if it's a guy that he picked an hour earlier. By the 5th round, this guy's taking it right out of the bottle. He doesn't even care. By the 9th round, he's leaning over the balcony, yanking. And he comes out fast, doesn't he? He is shot out of a cannon. Let's do this thing, boys. Yeah! This guy's like the 10, yeah. And there it is. There's your guide to the fantasy draft room guy.